Hello, and welcome to Armenian Enough, a podcast about life and identity in the diaspora, with your host, Lara Vanian-Green.
Hello, and welcome to this episode of Armenian Enough. Our guest today is a woman who has followed her lifelong passion for the arts. And in 1995, she created a foundation to promote artists, musicians, visual artists, and filmmakers whose work explores subjects of social and cultural importance. 2 years later, she established the Film Festival, which allowed Armenian artists in particular to be seen and recognized on a global stage. We're talking, of course, about the Arpa International Film Festival. The festival has hosted artists such as Serj Tankian, Atom Egoyan, Angela Sarafian, Carla Garabedian, Vahe Berbedian, Armen Ra, to name only a few. And its founder is here in studio with us today, Sylvia Minassian. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
So good to have you. Thank you for coming in today to talk to us. I'm so excited about everything that you've done, and I want to hear about everything that you're doing with this year's festival and plans for the future. But the way we always start our shows is asking our guests to tell us a little bit about your background and the role that Armenian culture played in your upbringing.
Sure, I'll be more than happy to. Well, I was born in Istanbul and I came to the United States as a young girl. In my upbringing, it was very, very important for me to have learned responsibility, respect for one another, importance of education and diligence. And I brought that with me to this country and pursued my goal in education, especially. To me, languages was very important. The arts was always very important. So after studying in college, continuing my French education in French and minoring in Spanish and art, I graduated and started a teaching career. However, my love for the arts never stopped. So I would go to art exhibits, especially go to watch foreign films. Foreign films was very important for me. And that's why I think the independent films became important later in my life because of, more than action, it's the conversation, it's the story, it's the family life, it's the turmoils of life that is presented in most of these foreign films and also in independent films. So that's where it led me to.
One of the things that I really appreciate about foreign films is that unlike American films, they don't always have a happy ending. Especially the French movies are notorious.
Very, very true. But then life does not have always happy endings.
Exactly.
So we have to be more realistic, not live in a dream world. A movie can tell a story of a person, a family, a country, a group of people. I mean, it's very important for us to know, to learn and see the reality. And we see that through especially independent films.
Yeah, it sort of holds up a mirror to our life or existence, someone else's story.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And throughout all these years, we've seen hundreds of films made by independent filmmakers. And wow, I mean, starting from the shorts to the features, they're amazing stories. How do people come up with these stories, or how they have probably experienced some of these stories to put it on film? So this has become very, very important in my life. This is the reason why I dedicate my whole life to the promoting of the independent filmmaker, because it's very difficult to realize or to bring out finished form of a film. It goes many years of dedication and giving up a lot from your own personal life and also your financial situation also. It's like very costly. And a lot of times they do not get a lot of help. So they do it on their own. So my hat is off to them. And nothing gives me more pleasure than to showcase their work.
Well, you've done an amazing job showcasing independent filmmakers and in particular Armenian artists. How did Arpa start? Like, where did the idea come from?
The idea came from, again, from what I said, from my love for the independent films. And I've had many friends who were dreaming about making films, but they were thinking that it was impossible, especially in a place like in Hollywood or in United States. It's very difficult. We always discussed stories. Wouldn't it be nice to have something like this, to see it in a film, etc.? And one day, someone came to me and said, I have this project in mind and I really would love to realize it. Can you help me, try to find some funding for it, etc.? And that's how it kind of came to my mind, that since I had started the organization for film, music, and art in 1995, I thought of what a great way of searching the world for filmmakers. At that time, the very first 2 years, it was only Armenian, actually, Armenian filmmakers that we could screen what they have done, if there are any. And then those who are finishing up, maybe we can give them a chance. That's how it really started. And the first 2 years, we probably had 12 to 14 films, and they were done by people that were born in Beirut, or maybe one or two from Armenia, one or two from the US. I remember we did it. First one was at Universal Hitchcock Theater at the Universal Studios. That was our very first film festival. And Hank Munjin, who was a producer, Momjian, but he went by Munjin. If you remember his name, he was in the American film industry. I approached him and he was and he spoke Turkish. He had learned from his mom. So he really took to me, he enjoyed talking few Turkish words and this and that, and a typical American Armenian person. And he came on board to start my first film festival. So it was along with Howard Kazanjian, who had done Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Right.
Yeah. So that was our first year. Second year, we separated. I said, okay, now we have to start getting international too, so that other people get to see films done by Armenians. Because if I do only Armenian Film Festival, only Armenians are going to come. So this way, if I have a few of the non-Armenian films, then a lot of the non-Armenian people will get involved. And the second one was at Raleigh Studios. We did 2 years of film festivals there. So we separated Armenian films and world films first.
Oh, interesting.
We separated it. And then we did a little competition to see, which ones will be voted, to win. Then I said, why am I going to separate, as Armenians are just as talented as the Americans? We can mix them and start that way. And after the third year, surely enough, we were an international film festival, and we started getting more submissions, and we started getting, it was very, very hard work. First of all, to convince our people of the idea of film was not easy. Because for our people, the most important thing that they would support or donate was church, school, Armenia, and Kusaksutun,
absolutely
political.
It's still like that.
It's still like that to this day. However, my husband backed me quite a bit. If he did not, I would not have reached here, because we had no support from the outside. People would come buy their tickets, and then it would increase. But, donation wise, we had a booklet. They would put some ads, but it took a very slow move. Eventually, I would get letters from unknown Armenians saying that, why am I screening non-Armenian films? This should be only Armenian. If I'm doing anything for the Armenians, it should be only Armenian.
I love that you're saying this, because the fact that you decided to include all films internationally is precisely what gives the film festival its legitimacy. Because if it was just Armenians, and if we just stayed in our small little circle, nobody would pay attention.
Exactly.
And you wouldn't have reached, and when I say you, I mean the film festival would not have reached the place that it did, the status and the stature that it has today. So please tell me about your naysayers. I love it. I love these stories.
Well, I mean, I ignored these because I'm the type of a person that something like that is not going to discourage me, because I believed in what I believed. And I spoke on the stage before every festival telling people that one film will tell the whole world who Armenians are. So when we showcase our Armenians in a film festival, their film will reach the jury. That our jury has always been 99% non-Armenian, and they're from the American Emmy Award, Academy Award winning circles of producers, directors, writers, etc. So they get to see all these films. So they get to see all these Armenian-made films. And it goes to other places. It's on the internet. So one film will tell the world who Armenians are, especially if we have it internationally from all over the world. We get films from anywhere from 15 to 30 different countries, depending on the year. So this means that they are in touch with our festival. They are telling their people the background of this festival. We're all Armenians in the committee. We're all Armenians. We're on their website. I mean, most of us. So this mixture, this is how an Armenian filmmaker, for them, doors are going to open in non-Armenian circles. We don't want them to stay within our community for somebody to say, "Oh, you did a good job. Bravo." That's the end of it.
And in all honesty, if that happens, if people are only famous in the Armenian community, they don't get the same kind of respect as someone who's famous either everywhere or in just another country. Right?
Absolutely.
I mean, we could psychoanalyze that. Like, where does it come from? Like, why is it more valuable if someone else tells it or recognizes us? Whether it's
we know
Cher
our
or
own.
Kim Kardashian or whoever.
Yeah.
It's suddenly, it's like, those are our celebrities. The people that
Exactly.
the outside, when I say outside world, non-Armenians validate their worth.
Yes. Because we have the talent. We have the talented filmmakers, and why not open doors for them? And it's not going to open. Otherwise, they have to really struggle on their own. This way, we're opening doors. And I'm so happy to say that we have opened a lot of doors to new filmmakers, Armenian filmmakers, that got to be accepted to other film festivals because they were accepted in ours, especially if they won in our film festival, which very often Armenian filmmakers did win in our festival by a non-Armenian jury. I'm so proud to tell you that. We have no influence. We find out about 3-4 days before. Only 2 of us find out the voting, like who is the winner. Even the rest of the committee does not know, because we want to keep it like almost like the Oscars, like a very kind of surprising as to who is the winner. So they really did benefit a lot, and I'm very proud of that.
Is there a certain artist or director, actor that you can think of that started with in the Arpa Film Festival and has now moved on?
Well, there are quite a few. It's tough to remember names, all of them right now. I wouldn't say that they started, but nobody knew them, let's say. Of course, they did all that because of their own talents also. If they did not have the talent, they would not have gone outside of that. But for instance, just to give you a small example, some of my favorites, Eric Nazarian, for instance, he is such a talent out of USC Film School. I remember we've had so many lunch and coffee sessions together. He had dreams, he had ideas, and I believed in them. And he made it through his hard work. He made those films, and we screened them, and he won. And now he's doing, amazing things outside of AFFMA. I think he's working on an amazing film right now that for the last 2-3 years that is going to be huge. Sevo Hanyan, he's a USC person. I'm not saying that, he got where he got only because of us, but we recognized his talent And we gave him an award as a rising star. And a couple of years after that, his films were in ArcLight already, and he's an amazing director. The same with Natalie Kasabian. The same with Angela Sarafian. We gave her a Rising Star Award, and she had done a few things. One film that came from Armenia that she was in. Well, again, they're talented. Their talents got them where they are at. But we recognized their talents early, and we promoted and networked their name within the community, at least, if not elsewhere.
Of course, they have to have the talent, but as you know, talent by itself is not enough to assure success or fame, particularly in the arts. Maybe in other industries, really talent will get you higher up on the ladder, but art, and my husband is a musician, so I can say this with impunity, talent does not equate with fame and success. So they have the talent, but you have provided the platform. So if Arpa Film Festival wasn't there for these particularly Armenian directors, actors, producers, whatever, what kind of challenges would they have faced just going the regular route? Okay,
well, and there are a lot of them that are not connected through us who have made it, and even I would say they really made it on their own. The challenges are great. Connection is the biggest word in this business. If you don't have connections, and if you don't pursue and follow through and be diligent about it and don't give up, it's hard, years of hard work. You will succeed. I know so many people that I have met for hours and hours, and for the last 5, 6, 7 years, they are working on that one project. The reason why they're getting the connections, but even with the connections, they need the funds. Unfortunately, our Armenians do not believe 100% in supporting filmmakers. They think that their money is going to waste. It is not. These people are not taking the money and going on vacation. They have the proof of their work. They need the support, financial support, besides moral support or visible, putting them on the stage type of support. They need the financial support. We need to learn to really believe in their projects. When somebody approaches with a beautiful project, give the time and really look into it. Because that could be really the answer, that it will just go all over the world, make that person famous, and make the person who provided the funds, their name up there with them. And these people will always be grateful. And that's the way I really feel. I have quite a few people with projects in my hands that need that financial aid. One of them right now is taking a trip going to Armenia and Russia just for his project to be able to finance. The script is beautiful. I've seen pieces of the film. It's beautifully done. And it's a Armenian story done in a very original way that Americans will love to see. It's not a genocide film. I think that our young people have done a lot of genocide at the beginning, films, documentaries especially. It's great. Genocide films teaches even to young Armenians who don't know much about it, even older Armenians who don't know historical facts of it, or they know just what happened. So some of these years of like Baret Maronian's films, all the research that he puts into it, it's so educational. Everybody learns. Imagine if we're learning, a non-Armenian out there in that world that sees that film, they're really learned about the Armenian genocide. I mean, through film is the best way. Visual art is the best way, because people will watch it easier than reading books about it.
So we've been talking about this a lot, and I talked about this with Salpi Lazarian at the end of season 1. How do we make this history come alive and matter to our children, right? I'm a granddaughter of a genocide survivor, but my daughter doesn't have any connection to it. She hears a story from me about my grandpa. it's not, and granted she's too young right now, but it's not real to her. But through a film, through books, through, like, you make it real through these personal stories.
And I tell you, for the new generation, film is the easier way.
Yeah.
They're not going to sit and read about a genocide. Trust me, very few will.
They'll listen to a podcast.
Yeah, they will, hopefully. See, that's new, the new generation, of course. But I think that besides genocide films, I think that our Armenian filmmakers that are beginning to right now, they should tackle the Armenian culture, love stories, family stories, our culture, our music. They have to bring that on the film screen, on the screen. And that will be effective.
I recently saw that Serge Tankian has that new project on I Am Not Alone with Nicole Pashinyan, the whole Velvet Revolution story, which is an incredible story. I can't wait to see it.
Yes.
Is that coming to your film festival?
No. I heard that's going to screen at the Toronto Film Festival.
Yes.
Yes. And to me, that's very, very important, because if Toronto Film Festival accepted it, of course, there's big names attached to it also. You see, again, connection does help, no matter, how good a film is. Serge Tankian, he's an amazing Armenian. I adore him. He's really special. And whatever he does it from the heart. And he's a celebrity within the Armenians and non-Armenians, you see, and that's what does it. Joe Berlinger, who's a director, backs things like this. Bravo to Garin Hovhannisyan, he did the right thing. These are all very important points to bring out if it's going to be a genocide type of a film. Anything else has to be thought out really nicely, and it has to be presented in a very dynamic way. So it has to take time and really effort and collaboration. So that will really be important for the Armenian filmmaker, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree with you. We have the genocide is important, but we can't be sort of this one trick pony that we only have one thing that we discuss. You get tired. You get fatigue on these same topics.
And then resentment comes in.
Yeah.
I worry about that too. When you push one thing too much from the outside world, I'm talking about, of course, resentment sets in. You don't want to bring it to that level, in my opinion.
Yeah. And that's not all of who we are, right? Most of our days don't revolve around discussing what happened.
Absolutely.
To our
We're happy people, we're progressive people. Yes.
Oh, so what would you like to see more in terms of Armenian films?
Like I said, I think that films that will deal with Armenian family, love, culture, music, bring a story of our people that is happier. It doesn't have to end happy, the stories, but at
more
least
well-rounded,
and it's all inclusive. Yeah. You don't want to just go into the sad part of our history.
No, absolutely. This year's film festival has films from Argentina, Morocco, US, Turkey. Who decides on, and how do you decide on what films get included?
We have a committee that selects the films that comes in, and they watch the films and they put their votes in. And some films come to me personally. And we're three ladies that we really, since day one, Maral Kazazian, who is 100% into this. And she is, by the way, she is really a film buff and a film person. She always has gone at least 2 or 3 times a week to see all the films that come out. She goes to all the festivals. She sees every film that we receive. I mean, she's amazing. And Sonia Keshishian, who is our jury liaison, she brings in the famous jury to us for them to watch our films. Now, Sonia Keshishian's son, I have to mention, he deserves a huge credit. Ara Keshishian, he is the president of Mad River Pictures, and he makes decisions on multi-million-dollar films that takes place, like Zac Efron film, the last film of Zac Efron's. So he always has been part of us. He has always been our advisor. He's always helped us with jury selection and celebrities and other things. So I'd like to extend my gratitude to him because he's a very busy person, extremely busy. Imagine being the president of a huge company like that, and he gives time to this. Why? Because his soul is Armenian. He's Armenian, you see. All his world is non-Armenian that he works with, but he's very Armenian. So we're very proud of that. So the jury that gets to vote on the various winners, whether it's Best Picture or Rising Star, that's a different jury than the committee. Okay. Yes. Rising Star, we give Career Achievement Award and Lifetime Achievement Award. We've had big celebrities like Edward James Olmos. We've had Francis Fisher, I wanted to say, Shoria Ardashlu.
Do you know who you've had that I really... well, it's not the celebrity that you
We've had Serge Tankian, of course. I mean, all these people. Yeah, of course.
You screened a movie, When My Sorrow Died, from Armen Raz's film. And I watched that a few years later after it came out. I loved that so much. And I wish that I had been able to see it, or I did recently catch a performance of his. Really kind of, I think, hidden Armenian treasures.
Well, he is truly a hidden Armenian treasure. I think he's a hidden treasure for the world. I think there are only 5 or 6 people that play I think it's called theremin.
Theremin.
Yes. Mm-hmm. And when you see it, you are amazed. He looks like a magician. All you'll see is his hands up in the air, and this music that comes out of there is classical, is Armenian, is American, it's international. He's an amazing personality, and he's one of the nicest, kindest person I've ever met. Aww. I adore him. Yes.
He is so sweet. I did catch a small performance of his, intimate performance, and I'm not somebody that usually cries when I hear music. It's not my thing. Movies, yes, I box the Kleenex in movies, but so when he was playing the theremin, it got to this point, like, I just started, like, tears just started flowing.
It does that.
I was like, what's happening?
It does that because it's really, truly magical. I mean, he should really be on this new TV show, the talent show that they do.
Yeah.
I mean, really, the way he plays, it's unbelievable. Yes.
So what a joy to be able to discover talents like this and different kinds of talents and artists and provide a platform for them.
Exactly. Do you know how many people got to know who he is through the movie that he had done that we screened?
It was so good.
Yes. And also his performance. He performed for us. 2 different years. He was very gracious.
Aww.
Very gracious. Yes. So, I mean, these are the things that makes me keep going. It's a very difficult task. Because as soon as you're over, we take about a month or so break, and then we have to start all over again. And thanks to our wonderful volunteers, I tell you, we're an organization that, because of lack of big support, we've been doing this for 22 years, but everyone volunteers. A lot of people deserves to be in it with pay, because year in, year out, they're doing this, with a big heart. It takes a lot of their time. But when I'm seeing the passion they have, like I do, that means that since they're coming each year to our meetings and helping out at the end at the festival, I adore every one of them, because to me, I volunteered to a lot of organizations when I was young, but I'm saying that was our time. It was something that was done. Not everybody did it. It still had to be a certain select group that did it, but there were a lot more. But right now, the young people are more, excuse the expression, selfish. They're more into their own lives. They're more into their own time. So those who volunteer like this, to me, they're like the most wonderful human beings that I can imagine, because for them to give their time like that, I respect and I appreciate. I really do. It's very difficult. So my thanks go to all the committee members, to be honest.
That's really wonderful.
Yes.
And of course, you've reached a certain level, or the festival has reached a certain level of notoriety where it's like an honor to volunteer. Like if somebody said volunteer for the Oscars, you're like, okay, I'll do that.
You're absolutely right. I'm happy to say that some of the people that have been in our committees, if their line future interest was related to entertainment, it did give them a lot of experience. It did give them a very nice summary,
Resume.
for their resume. And some of them I saw that ended up with great internship jobs and then eventually jobs. So I'm proud to say that it does happen. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I meant to ask you this before, but we got a little sidetracked. When you were talking about how important it is for these films to be funded, the film festival is the platform, but is the Arpa Foundation, do you have an arm that has like grants to filmmakers and artists?
I'm glad you asked that actually. At the very beginning, when I started this, we were given by a family a sum that we started this with. What inexperience teaches you, what we did not manage that in the way that maybe we should have. The excitement of getting new talent. We did advertise that we do give grants. So you can imagine all the grants from Armenians from all over the country and even overseas that came with their resumes that they're doing this project, that project. And then we would meet. We were at that time 17 of us. And, they were a lot people from the business world, people from the film world, people like me interested in the arts. We really, truly got emotional. And we said, oh, this project is great. And let's give a grant to that one. Let's give a grant to that one. Our grants were not even $500 or $250 or whatever. It was $1,000. At that time, when we first started, that was huge money. Our mistake was that we did not put, how should I say, we did not tell them, okay, until when the project has to be finished to get this money or this or that, whatever. Would you believe that to date, we have given $125,000 in grants. No one knows that. I'm saying this for the first time, only the committee. And of course, it was in the papers. We used to do an event, grant giving event. Wow. So we used to have the grant recipients dinner event. They would line up and we would give them and we would tell all about them, what their project is and everything else. I would say that out of all these people, we're talking about 125 people. Some of them, they say that I'm hearing it lately that, I got my first grant from you years ago. And I heard that a few months ago recently, after 22 years, just verbally just telling me that. Out of all these people, only 5 people that I know that came back and appreciated and stayed with us and, flourished.
Wow.
Now, the other ones, I'm sure a lot of them, if I look into some of those names, I'm sure a lot of them did great. They were in the art, music, and film, I must say. It wasn't only film. I'm sure that a lot of them have had very nice features. It's just that I just feel sad that we don't expect anything back. We just would like for them to come forward and say, your grant at that time did something to my project. Just something small, something. Right. That's what we're waiting to hear. And that would make me the happiest. But, not hearing that is not stopping me. So therefore, when our funds were gone, now we were in dire need of funds to run our festival. This is when it comes in where we were not business minded. If we did manage it right, we could have still continued to have more money. That money would have kind of, somehow turned over, helped the festival and helped still some more people. But unfortunately, there were years that we gave 5-6 grants. One year was my downfall. I gave 14 grants and $14,000 in that year. That should have never been done. So it's my committee's mismanagement.
But you learned, and you learned on your own dime, which is always an expensive but permanent lesson.
Yes, it's correct. That's correct. I'm not regretting any of it. I'm so happy. I'm still ready. If there's funds, I would help anyone. I mean,
your longevity and the fact that it's 22 years now that you're celebrating. How do you feel when you look back at how you started, or folks that said it couldn't be done or it wasn't important, whatever? Tell me a little bit about how you feel when you look back.
I say this. Of course, we were much younger. So the energy level and the competition level.
You still have a lot of energy. I don't know.
Oh, nothing like before. But hey, I'm not a giver-upper. So I will pursue as long as God gives me health. I would like to continue this and help out. I really would like to have kind of enough funds to reach out to some of the projects that I really believe that's going to make it. And there are a few. And that, it gives me such a pleasure to be part of that, giving and finishing up a project and seeing the end project and seeing it on the big screen. That is my biggest dream. And that's what I can't give up. And it's hard for me to not do this, what I'm doing.
So if you had to give advice to an up-and-coming Armenian artist, and let's say filmmaker, because that's the majority of what we're focusing on, what advice would you give?
Don't give up, because it's a very hard road. Have a good, solid material. Get advice to see that you're on the right track. Continue, pursue, bring out a good plan, and then go forward with your connection and your financial reach outs. But first, the base is very, very important. So don't have just a dream and come out and look for connections and for funds. Have everything very solid down. Have that passion and continue with it and don't give up. It's very important.
Do the work.
Do the work. Absolutely. It's not an easy road. It's not.
Can anybody submit a film to the festival?
A film to the festival?
Can anyone submit their film
Of course. Mm-hmm. Of course. Yes. We open our submissions and it's via Film Freeway and everyone can submit. And our website, I think everyone interested in film should visit our website. It's www.arpafilmfestival.com. Look into our past honorees, past films we have screened, our red carpets. Our red carpets are fantastic. We do get good, for our festival, pretty good celebrity lines. And, just submit. Sure.
What are you most proud of when you look back?
I'm proud of the filmmakers who really achieved, and they're going still very strong in going further. I'm very proud of that. And I'm very proud of the fact that we were able to create a platform for them. I'm very proud of that.
Well, art world needs art lovers, appreciators, fundraisers, organizers.
Very true.
And you've done a great job giving us a real platform. It's a huge deal.
It is a huge deal. And today's world, again, film is very important. So, our Armenian families are opening up their minds a lot more towards film, because everybody says, we sit at the end of the film to see if there are any Armenian names at the end.
Everyone does that.
This is just started a few years back. Nobody did that before because they're happy to see an Armenian name or two. And the second reason is a lot of their young people are going to college, to film schools, wanting to become editors, directors, producers, etc. So the families' minds are opening up towards film industry and therefore towards coming to our festival and supporting us. I think that everybody should come and support us, because once you come and see that talent and spend a beautiful day at the festival, especially with our new venue that we have now. We were at the Egyptian Theater for 14 years. And unfortunately, due to new purchases and remodeling, we had to move out. Now we're at the American Legion Post 43, which is right next to the Hollywood Bowl on Highland. And it's also a very historic building. Old movie stars used to hang out there. Their bar is still in existence. So we're going to be doing our festival for the first time there. And the only unfortunate thing about the place is that it has one state-of-the-art theater, 500 seats. We need at least two theaters to screen a lot more films. This will be the first year that we're going to not screen as many films as we always have, but it will be quality films. And the reception, the red carpet, we're going to be honoring Joe Berlinger, who's an Academy Award winning director. He's a documentarian. He's very much behind the Armenian cause. So we're very proud of our new place. So come and hang out there for 3 days. We have opening night. We have a film from Morocco. And the director of that film, it's an epic film. It's a true story that neither Spain nor Morocco knew that was in history. So it's a historic film that had a big budget. The cast is Italian. The language will be in English. The director's name is Suhail Bambarka. He's in his 70s, 72, I think. Top-notch director of Morocco. Apparently he has studied in Italy, directing and everything. So what attracted us to this film was when we were watching the trailer, we heard the background music, and it happened to be the music of Dele Yaman. We were like dumbfounded. We got the goosebumps, and we said, what is this Moroccan film that is a story between Morocco and Spain has to do with an Armenian music? So I reached out to the director, and I found out from him that his grandmother was Armenian, and that she used to sing that to him when he was a little child. And he also said that he takes his family to Armenia for vacation. Suhail Bambarka.
Wow.
We are going to be screening opening night, Friday, November the 8th, with a reception, this wonderful film. And I urge everyone to come and see. We have to fill the theater. It would be a shame to have so many Armenians living in Los Angeles and have an empty seat.
So do you just buy tickets online?
You can buy tickets online. It's myseat.com, or go to our website and the link is there, arpafilmfestival.com. And, it includes the reception. We don't ask for an arm and a leg. It's not a big amount. And then all day Saturday, please come, and all day Sunday, and Sunday night is our awards. Whoever is going to get, the winning film, the winning short, the winning documentary, etc., the honors that night. So we're going to have a beautiful event. If you come and hang out there, there's a cafeteria downstairs. Now we discovered, and there's that out of the Casablanca movie, like Humphrey Bogart type of a bar.
I want to see that bar.
You have to see that bar. It is still in its original form. And when I was talking with one of the people that were showing us, he said that in the 30s and 40s, like the second seat from the right, Humphrey Bogart used to sit there. Gregory Peck used to sit there. Charlton Heston was there. It's a historic place.
This is old Hollywood.
It is old Hollywood. And I love old movies myself.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's my place. But, really you can come and with little amount, really like expose your children to these beautiful shorts. We have animation, we have music videos, we have documentaries and features. What else?
I think you've got it all. Yeah. And I really want to see that bar. I may just have to come down this year. I've never been.
Oh, so you missed out a lot. Of course, we'll see how it's going to take shape.
It's going to be different.
Here it's going to be different than the 14 years that we've had, because Egyptian had a courtyard that was open air, and we displayed wonderful food and all the wine they can have. in that ticket price. That was not very much. And we would also have music, background music, actually not background, but, like live, a DJ and everything, live music. So we have all these things going on. And this time we'll try it again, but it has outdoors, but the reception will be indoors in that historic building. It's going to be something totally different. That's going to be new for us too.
That sounds like fun. One thing that I really wanted to say, because I thought of it earlier, is when I was thinking about movies and why they're important or how they touch us. So earlier this year, I think I went to see Spitak. It played for like one day in a theater in Glendale, and I went while my kid was at school. In the middle of the day, I felt like I was playing hooky. I went to see this film, and I didn't realize they were speaking in Armenian with English subtitles.
Right.
And this strange thing happened to me because I've never really heard Armenian on the big screen. And I felt like, again, like tears welling up just because I didn't realize like the lack of representation that, I just go watch a movie and I can connect to the characters or not, but it's different. It was a very intimate experience hearing Armenian. And I felt a little bit like that when I was watching The Promise too. Like, this sounds like I'm seeing the visual depiction of the stories that my grandfather told me.
Well, imagine when you come to our festival, when you see the documentaries that is about our story. But you mentioned Spitak. I'm so happy you did that because our dear filmmaker, director, actor, Vahik Pirhamze brought us Spitak, and we are proud to screen it Saturday night, November the 9th at the American Legion. And the actor and the actress, they're very well known in Armenia. Actually, we've had their films before here at our festival. It's a must to, and that film is nominated. So hopefully the jury, there are five nominated films. We'll see which one the jury will select. It's going to be a tough one, but it's a great one. So I hope that people will come and experience what you experienced.
Oh, fantastic. Yeah. And thank you so much for coming and talking to us, but we're not done. We have our 5 fun questions now. So let's start with number 1. I didn't change them. I thought I might add a new one, change it around, but I didn't do it. So they're the same as season 1. What is your favorite Armenian food?
Well, there's quite a few, but some of the ones that, you don't have favorite all the time. Like, I love manti, for instance, and I love most of the eggplant dishes. I'm an eggplant lover. Yes. And, I also like cabbage sarma. Oh. That really, like, I get really excited when I see it.
I can see it. So do you understand both Western and Eastern Armenian?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Did you always? Because sometimes...
No, the other one came later on.
Eastern came later?
Yes, of course.
So what is the most American thing about you?
My open-mindedness. I'm very open-minded to any type of films, to any kind of type of person, to any type of thoughts. I think I'm very open-minded.
I love it. Okay, this is a tough one for you because you know a lot of them. So deep breath. Do you have a favorite Armenian celebrity? One that's close to your heart?
Well, sure, there are quite a few of them, but there's always, some that I've always felt, how can you go wrong when you say Charles Aznavour? Yeah. He was an actor and a singer, an amazing talent. And as I was, living in this country, Cher became a very important personality with her talents. And I think she's an amazing actress.
Absolutely.
Amazing actress. And I'm surprised that she has not have more films or, that she has done. I wish she had more films.
I mean, Moonstruck.
Oh my God.
That performance.
Yeah. She's amazing. And, Adrienne Barbeau, a lot of people may not know that she's Armenian.
No.
Adrienne Barbeau is a good Armenian talent. Simon Opkarian from France. I admire his talent. There are quite a few from Armenia too.
most importantly, this is the most important question. No, I'm just kidding. Do you know how to read Armenian coffee cups?
I pretend.
I'll take it. I'm down for a fake reading anytime, any day.
I love to pretend. I used to pretend with my girlfriends, and they know that I did pretend, and they still will hand me the cup.
I will too. Thank you so much for coming and talking to us. It was a pleasure, and your energy is just so infectious. I can tell that you really love what you do, and
I do.
You have to, because it sounds like it's been a lot of work.
Yes, it's a lot of work, but I do love what I do. Yes, very much so.
Well, I can't wait for everyone to come November 8th through 10th.
Yes, 8, 9, 10.
I will have all of this stuff posted in my show notes. So you can find more about the Arpa Film Festival taking place in Hollywood from November 8th through 10th. Oh, these are in my notes now, so I just read the outro. You can find it at their website, www.arpafilmfestival.com, as well as on Facebook and Instagram, where you can also find details about the boutique fundraising event that you have on October 6th and all kinds of things. So all the festival information is going to be included in the show notes for this episode. Thank you so much for joining us today. If you're enjoying the show, please share it with your friends and on social media so more people can tune in. You can always reach us via our website at armenianenough.com, as well as on Facebook or Instagram. Until next time, remember that you are always more than enough.